Warning, this episode may contain some strong language, spoilers for the Channel 4 show Hunted and Celebrity Hunted, and occasionally, a dog. As a child, we all played hide and seek, but in a world dominated by technology, could celebrity status be your downfall?
It takes just a second to share a photo online. Will that second scupper attempts to stay hidden against a team of expert hunters?
Hello, Chief, how you doing?
All right, thank you. More importantly, how are you doing?
We're all right. We like a challenge.
Stand by, stand by, stand by. Out, out, out. Up to 7 persons.
7 persons,
8.
Short of jumping into the canal, their options are reasonably limited, and we also think they may have had a bit too much to drink last night.
It's a BMW, Ben. We have got live telematics on the vehicle.
You fucking beauty.
Curtains drawn.
Why are they drawn at this time of day?
Be in that fucking house. There's movement, yeah? Confirm movement?
There is movement in the property. Hunter team, open the door, please. House is surrounded.
My name's Craig.
And I'm Nat. A few weeks ago we discovered Hunted and are now obsessed.
But like with every obsessive TV show we watch, we're left with unanswered questions.
Like, why did Louis Smith think the inside of a hot tub was a safe space?
It's not like tag, there's no safe zones when you're being hunted, son.
Has Martin Affire's biohazard poo finally flushed?
How many roller coasters did Ewan and Richard get to ride?
Did Jamie Lang send the hunters any biscuits?
And how many crimes have gone unnoticed because, as we all know, doing the worm doesn't get caught on CCTV? Nitwits.
Welcome to the Hunted Podcast.
Could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. And when they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
The Oxford English Dictionary defines a celebrity as a famous person, or as a state of being famous. The Oxford English Dictionary also defines famous as being known about by many people.
So how do you define celebrity then? Because you can be known about by hundreds of millions of people on Facebook or on any form of social media, but it might not be for the reason of being famous. So how do you define that?
I think it's about who recognises you, how easily you are recognised, and by how many people. So
by that respect then, when we walk around Mansfield and people go, all right, Craig, and I go, all right, and then I say to you 2 seconds later, I've got no idea who that was. Does that count as celebrity, or is that just people just wanting to talk to me about football?
I think that's just people wanting to talk to you about football.
But on a grander scale,
yeah,
that's where Celebrity Hunted comes in, and that's where perhaps fame and the definition of celebrity may help or hinder you on the run.
It may, because it may be different to every person. You know, I would recognise different people to you, and you would recognise different people to me. So, like, if I saw someone that was on Married at First Sight, I'd know who they were. You'd have no idea.
And then you tell me, and then I'd be like, what's the number for the hunters?
Yeah. If you saw a kicky ball player...
sorry, what?
Kicky ball player.
What's kicky ball?
Well, it's that game where they kick the ball along the ground and into a goal.
You mean football?
Kicky ball.
Football.
You would recognise one of those players. I would only recognise, say, one.
And I would recognise people that have been on Waterloo Road, Line of Duty,
yeah,
any probably TV crime drama as well, but less about that. This is not a podcast about them. There are some of those available, and this is all about the TV show Hunted. Welcome back. Thanks very much for joining us again. I hope you had a good time in the last episode. We've got some fantastic episodes planned, and I promise that every week it won't just be us two sat in our back room desperately trying to stop Harry the dog, who you saw on our social media the other day, jumping up on the window to look out the window, or licking the microphone or anything like that. Excuse me, get down. See, he's just jumped up on now, so there you go. Being a bit of a pest today. I promise we will have some form of interviews, some form of other content as well for you over the coming weeks, including we're going to delve into Hunted around the globe, aren't we?
We are. We've not seen it personally, We've seen videos of it. We've done a little bit of research, and we're going to try and talk to some people about maybe Australia, maybe America.
And definitely Australia. I think we're definitely going to make Australia one of the things. We've obviously got Ben, who went down under to go and be a hunter. Then, of course, when we started the social media platforms up, we had a couple of the hunted Australian fugitives who decided they wanted to follow us. And I think we've got one of the Australian hunters as well.
I think we have, yeah. One of the office hunters.
Yes, you're very pleased that the Wikipedia page for the for the
He's got them
for the Australian
listed.
one has them listed as office hunted and ground hunters, aren't you?
So does the American one.
See, organisation.
Ours, I have had to watch one episode from, well, not all the way through, but I've had to get one episode of each series, skip to the end, pause it repeatedly, and write down each hunter that I see.
So maybe, maybe our Wikipedia needs to change, or maybe someone needs to make a website. Don't even get any ideas about that. Can we get back to the episode, please?
Sorry. So, celebrities. Going on the run as a celebrity, is it harder or easier than a civilian?
So that's one of the points that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
We've basically outlined a whole conversation. Basically what we did, we went for a meal the other night at a pub and we sat talking about hunters like we do, and we basically talked out this whole episode, wrote notes on a phone, and this is now, we'll let you behind the curtain, the 5th time we've sat down to try and record this episode. So we're trying to get through it and trying to do it where it's yes, we're trying to do it where we actually record what we said. Maybe we should have just taken microphones to the pub. It would have looked a bit weird though when the state came.
Sounded weird.
But there you go. So we're talking about, is it harder being a celeb? We're also going to be talking about how other commitments, because when you are a normal fugitive, a civilian fugitive, your other commitments don't necessarily get in the way because you're taking holiday from work or whatever, whereas a celebrity, it doesn't necessarily go that way. So we'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about who you as an individual would be more likely to help, a celebrity or a civilian. And then we're going to delve into our personal top 5 celebrity fugitives. And then we're going to go to the segment which we did at the end of the last podcast, which was quickfire, but
not quickfire.
Not quickfire. So we look forward to that. And we're going to be opening the post bag as well. We've got some of you guys that have been in touch via social media and through the email address. So we're going to be talking about a few of your things as well. So let's delve straight into it then, shall we? And go with the first part. Is it harder being a celebrity?
Resources wise, no. Because celebrities have a bigger network available to them. When you think about Toff had a hell of a lot of friends who have boats, who have houses, more boats, and more boats. So they have more people that they can get in touch with to drive them places, fly them places, whatever, sail them places. I was going to say boat them places then. But I guess they also have a downfall of they have all this money available to them, and when you're in that situation, you're going to want your money to help you, to put you into a hotel, to buy you food, to buy you warm clothes or get you warmth. So,
or go to a spa.
And
get your nails done.
Yeah, because that's really important whilst you're on the run. Going to a spa, getting your nails done, and not getting caught whilst in said spa.
Some did though.
Some did.
Did they actually make it to the spa?
I don't think they did. I think they got caught before they got to the spa.
Single-handedly by Steve Cotton.
Yeah. Well done, Steve.
Well done, Steve. Nitwits.
But with the whole money, you've got the issue of Stanley.
Yes.
And his credit cards.
Unless you bank with a certain bank account, which obviously Mr. Johnson does, because
he was
he was determined to ensure that that his bank account no, Toff, no, it's not traceable. They can't trace this one. I'm relatively sure they can't trace this one. It's fine.
It was fine. He could just pay for his petrol. He wasn't going to get found. What else did he pay for? Hotel.
He paid for train tickets as well.
Train tickets, yeah. And then they lost each other at the train station.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how they didn't get caught a lot earlier than what they did, because every time there must be a longer delay than what we see in production on the bank transaction taking place and the hunters getting the information, because obviously, as I'm sure we'll find out from the hunters and themselves and the execs, etc. Like it says at the top of the show every time, the powers of the state have been replicated. So it's not necessarily a live thing of, we get a notification every time we pay for something on a card, it comes straight from the phone. There's going to be a bit of a delay, so that might be a factor.
Yeah, they're not going to know straight away. And obviously then they've got to get there. But still, he was letting them know where they were at every step.
Yeah.
And eventually they got caught.
I'm very surprised that they didn't get caught by causing a crash on the motorway.
He couldn't
so for Stanley Johnson, not only does bank accounts not traceable, you don't need to use indicators on cars, and you can just pull out in front of anybody at any time. Imagine being the camera. Because, right, obviously, again, behind the curtain a little bit, and I'm sure we'll get confirmation of this. Otherwise, how are these shots achieved?
Yeah.
When they are driving, there is a shot of the car that they are using in front of another car on the motorway. There's not just a bloke stood there on the camera stopping the motorway going, can we just get 15 extras cars in and we'll just film on this little strip of road and edit it in? That's real. They are travelling and there's a production car behind them. You just see the car, which... I can't remember whose car it was.
It was some friend of Stanley, I think, from right at the start.
He's obviously driving along and Toff's there reading the newspaper or whatever, and then you just see him straight across the next lane. Didn't look, didn't indicate, just pulled straight out in front of another car. Imagine being the production car going, okay, now what you doing, man? You're mad.
Getting their phone ready.
Yeah. Boss, we're going to have to cancel the entirety of the series. Stanley Johnson's just caused a 10-car pile-up on the on the motorway. Sorry, on the mic.
On the mic?
On the mic.
Don't forget about Mike.
How on earth they didn't get caught because of his buffoonery? I just don't know.
Stanley.
But it is a good point that you raised, though. Money and resource, they do have that available to them more so than what the civilians do. Obviously, that civilians get given X amount of cash. Now, I think, I might be wrong, that in one of the earlier series of The Celebrity Hunted, that they were given X amount of
I think
money,
so, yeah.
Which they had to use. But again, if you've got extra money on top, almost like in the civilian series, you saw Dan and Haley go into one of his gyms, just bolting and get money out.
Yeah.
The dad giving them money, or other people asking other people for money. Have you got 50 quid so I can get a drink and a bite to eat?
A random fiver.
So it's not like you have to stick to that amount of money. So when you're a celebrity and you've got that resource available to you, it is easier to get yourself a car.
Mm.
It is easy. I mean, look at you and Thomas. I'm sure
he turned up at a friend's garage.
Yeah, they're going to know more people, surely, who are able to provide those contacts. So having money and resource is probably a much easier thing for them in terms of the celebrity one, which I don't know whether that would help or hinder a hunter either, because surely if you've got more resource available to you, the temptation to use it more is going to be more, which therefore makes it easier for the hunters to gather information on.
Because the hunt, if you have got all these resources, surely it's something that you will have used before. So you'll have been to a friend's boat or a friend's holiday home or a friend's bar, and they will find pictures of you there because, most celebrities, whenever they go somewhere or do something, they take a picture. So you will find the picture, you'll be tagged in it, they'll find out where you're going.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing as well, isn't it, in terms of, like we said at the top, because it's the whole celebrity thing of taking an image and things like that. But I think we'll touch more upon that when we talk about who you'd be more likely to help, because that's the whole part of it. One thing I did think about being a celebrity and sort of, is it harder being a celebrity? Is it mentally harder? And I don't mean this in a judgy sort of way. Obviously, you know, there are a lot of celebrities out there who have worked really, really hard to hone their craft and make a career for themselves and do really, really well. They all have started out in worse situations than what people imagine. They would have had like humble upbringings and things like that. But there are a minority, and I mean minority, of celebrities who will have grown up in a world where sleeping in a tent on a back garden is not something that they've done. Where going to a campsite in the UK, sleeping in a tent in the wind and rain, roughing it, is not something they will have done. They will have been used to privilege. They will have been used to high class things. They will have been used to having their hair done, looking a certain way, feeling a certain way. So for them, is it mentally tougher? Because you sort of see it as the journey goes on, don't you? That I've had 2 days on the run. Oh, I need to have my hair done. My hair feels a little bit manky. Oh no, I think my minge smells a bit. I need to wash it. It's like a bush down there. There's just a lot of sort of bitching, if you like, about personal appearance, and I think you get that more on a celebrity. Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be probably people out there listening to this who go, well, actually, no, it happened on the civilian one as well. But I, in my head, hear more bitching and moaning about being clean and feeling dirty and crying and whimpering about having to slum it in a bush for a couple of nights on the celeb version than I do on the civilian version. Yeah,
that is very true. You know, you get it on the civilian version, but they do it in a jokey way. Like, they're like, oh, I've worn these pants for 3 days. Whereas the celebrity version is sometimes very much, I need to change my pants. I smell. It's disgusting. I've got disco minge.
Yeah, disco minge. But is that like, you know, we sit here and we say it in a taking the piss kind of manner. Yeah. But, you know, mentally side of things, you know, we would never take the piss out of that, because obviously it's always a slog for them. But I think it's those tiny little insignificant things which lead to the longer term mental side of things. And I don't know, I do feel like you do see a lot of celebs. Again, it might be a production thing where they're saying, you know, you do have to camp maybe 1 or 2 nights, but again, because of the amount of connections they've got, they're not likely to do that anyway. So I don't know whether it's a production thing to say.
A lot of nights in friends' houses and hotels that people just happen to own. And
yeah, and it's funny about that. You know, if we're being really cynical and talking about like it's the old Truman Show film analogy, where, you know, they don't advertise because he's lived in a world where he thinks he's real. Yeah. But they have product placement. Yeah. Big Brother used to have product placement. Yeah. And, you know, one night in the Ivy in Birmingham or whatever, just a random, I don't know whether that is actually a thing, but you get my point. Yeah. You get my point. Yeah. It's a little bit of a thing, because straight away people who've watched the show go, oh my God, such and such from Towie stayed there when they did Hunted. Oh, let's go and have a night there. And it's almost like it's a small minority of or small percentage of business they may gain from it, but it is the fact that they could gain business from it. Yeah. They're more likely to go to gain business from 2 celebs from Made in Chelsea staying there a night than what they are Steve and Lutricia from Dudley staying there on the run.
That's very true. Yeah, they're going to get more from... and I guess if you get celebrities turn up on the run or not on the run, someone's going to take a picture. Yes. And even if it doesn't get posted until they've been caught or the show's over, it's still going to get them something. The
awareness of location is there, which, I don't know, I think that's another thing which perhaps it is lets the celebrity version down a little bit for me. But on the flip side of that, when they put out the posters and talk about, have you seen the celebrity, I don't like that celebrity. He annoyed me on that show.
Yes.
I'm definitely.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taking a picture and calling the hunters. So there is that side of things. I guess.
Loyalty.
Mentally harder. We've talked a little bit about the celebrity in inverted commas world of it being difficult to slug it because you want to get your nails done. The jokey side of things, but like everybody else, I've got to balance it out. They are human beings at the end of it. And the prime example is those who have kids.
Yes. Not seeing your kid for, what's the celebrity one, 14 days?
Yeah.
Some of them might be used to being away for 2-3 days at a time, but they'll be able to call and video chat and get pictures. This is completely cutting them off from their children for 14 days. Of course, they're going to try and go home and see them. You had Jean-Christophe, who went to a hospital appointment to see his son. You had Ewan Thomas.
Ewan Thomas, yeah.
Thomas, I also almost got it wrong then. Ewan Thomas.
Don't worry, nobody noticed. Literally everybody noticed.
Ewan Thomas, who he went home on the first day to get his supplies, saw his son, and then he went to a friend's and watched through the video cameras, didn't he?
Yeah.
To see his son. So they're going to want to see their children at some point.
And of course, with Ewan, what we didn't know until the very end, which again was almost like Bob and Alex vibes. I've got tissues for you somewhere. They're all right.
Thanks.
In fact, they're here. Look, if you want one of them, there you go, just there.
Thank you.
We didn't know until pretty much the last day that his partner was expecting their second child.
No, we didn't. And he showed a little, what are they called? Sonogram? See,
again, not parents, so we don't know. I'm going to call it baby's first photo.
Baby's first photo. He showed us baby's first photo whilst he was hiding in the office building.
Yes.
Didn't he? And he had a little moment then. And you could sort of see that it meant a lot to him.
Yeah, and I think when you're sort of on the run and you're sort of doing that sort of thing, and you do have those things to contend with, which does make it mentally tougher, because again, going back to the whole thing of being a human being, you're not away from them for that long. And I guess in the world of celebrity, the celebrity version, there's another thing which we've not considered to talk about, and that is the whole reason why they're doing it in the first place.
The stent cancer.
Yes. So every celebrity, everybody in some way, shape or form, whether directly or indirectly, will be affected by cancer. It's a really good cause. They do some good stuff each year on Channel 4, and pretty much everybody that gets involved with that show will have a direct or an indirect link for it. And those who do have a direct link for it, it then makes it mentally tougher, because in the civilian version, in Series 1, you're just playing a game. In Series 2 onwards, you're playing for a potential share of £100,000. So there's an end goal. There is no end goal in the celebrity version, other than the fact that you are trying to stay in the programme as long as you can for a good cause.
Yeah. It's all to, yes, they are still raising money, because you get the whole at the end of each part to donate this much, this much. But they're out there talking about it, making everyone aware, and for those that personally have a story, they're getting their personal stories out there as well.
And that makes it mentally tougher, because if you've got a loved one or a relative that either maybe going through cancer treatment at the time, or has survived cancer, or you've lost somebody to cancer, that's going to play on your mind as well, because you're going to be wanting to do it to them. And I actually think that if I had to choose between an emotional battle mentally and a mental battle of trying to win a share of 100k, the emotional battle would defeat me. The money share wouldn't, and I think that's what actually makes the mentality side of things in the celeb version much more severe than what it does in the civilian. Yeah,
it's definitely a lot harder for them, because they're going to be thinking about that family member, that friend, that maybe that fan that they got close to.
Yes.
They're going to be thinking about them and their family and what happened, and it's going to, especially if they end up on their own, it's going to be going through their head.
And again, you look back now, and you look at series 1 of Celebrity Hunted with Jay and Siva, and obviously now how much more that experience will mean to them now, given then the tragedy what happened after that.
Yes, that happened earlier this year.
Yeah.
And all of the things that Stand Up to Cancer did for the band and for Tom after he found out and after they'd done the show, I guess looking back and watching that series for them, it means a lot more to them.
Absolutely. We'd love to try and chat to them one day. Maybe we'll try and get them on the show. Although, when you're doing a podcast, it's a lot easier to try and book people who are civilians than it is celebrity. You've got to go through about 4,000 barriers, but we will get there because the hunters don't give up at the first attempt, do they? So
they don't, no.
Absolutely they don't. Right, let's put some light on the darkness and talk about other commitments during the hunt.
Yes.
So civilians, they will take time off from work.
Yep.
They might put some holidays in, they might be unemployed, they might be retired, etc., etc.
Yes.
There's a lot less chance of something being in the way, whereas in the world of celebrity, not so much.
No, and if you are contracted to do something, good luck getting out of that contract. Once you've signed, good luck with that. So a lot of the celebrities have stuff that they have to go and do. So I can't remember what series, we had Johnny.
Yeah, was he series 2? I think he was,
Yes,
series
2. He had to go and take part in a vote at Parliament. Obviously...
Well, he didn't have to. He felt it morally...
Yes.
He felt morally obliged to it, which is neither as a political, but is what a good MP should do, rather than shirk your responsibility to be on a reality TV show. So well played.
A good MP should go and vote and, speak for their people. So Johnny went, he got into Parliament. The hunters didn't even realise that there was a vote going off at Parliament until they watched TV. I think that's bad research there on their behalf.
I think that's probably a little bit of production, maybe hiding that to try and make it look a bit better.
I think it's all...
Cynic in me, but there you go.
Well, he got into Parliament, he took part in the vote, he got out, and obviously we all now know that he got to the end and won, but that was a very high profile commitment that he had. We have just finished series 4 of Celebrity Hunted, go us, and you have Lisa, who went and took part in a festival.
Oh God, don't get me started on... No. Right,
now.
Well, come on.
With that, she got into the festival ground. Festival grounds are massive. I've been to a festival. You have multiple stages, multiple tents, multiple fields. It's massive. You've got loads of different exits. It's a big place. She got in without being seen, got backstage, got on stage, performed, and got out without being caught. There were hunters outside of the festival ground, but none of them got tickets, none of them went in, they just had a drone.
Now, you see, this is where I get annoyed at this, because they must, from a production point of view, I totally get it, because if she sneaks out in a boot and it's like high drama, it makes good viewing. But from a hunter's point of view, in wanting to capture the fugitive and get them, if this was real life and they were after her for real, they would not be waiting until she got off stage and finishing that performance. They would 100% be breaking through, storming the stage, and halfway through would be grabbing her off stage and doing it that way, or at least waiting backstage. And I'm talking literal backstage. Literally, she walks off, arm on the shoulder. Lisa, you've been captured. Your time on the run is over. Yada yada yada. Bish bash bosh. See you later. Everybody's celebrating Smiley Steve's loving life.
Yes, Smiley Steve. But you've got the whole. She will be contracted to do that. She'll be contracted to perform for a certain amount of time on a date at a place. So when these celebrities sign up, do they have to say about their prior commitments? And do they have to say whether it's something that they have to do or whether it's something that they can maybe delay for a few weeks? Obviously, with a festival, once you're in the lineup, you need a pretty good reason not to be in the lineup anymore. You know, illness or something. Just taking part in a Channel 4 show probably isn't going to get you off the lineup.
Yeah, even if it is for Stand Up for Cancer, which is a good cause. Now, you see, for me, the thing is more about, I think you probably do have to declare it, and then therefore there is the risk of either splitting up if you're in a pair or getting caught, which I think makes good drama, which I think the producers will want, because you know, I think it'd actually be very easy, going back to the first point, with connections, money, resources, for a celebrity to actually go fully off grid and to hide for 14 days, not get caught. But the things of, if you're clever enough, you could do it.
Yeah.
The things of being in a contractual situation and having to declare it, I think makes it interesting. It makes good TV, but also I think it adds to a little bit of the. I think it might appeal to somebody's arrogance a little bit, somebody's adrenaline, because you know you've got to get to this place, you've got to go and do it, you've got to go and perform, you've got to go and do your duties, do your job, and then you've got to get out. That would appeal to my adrenaline. Yeah. I think it's like the whole thing in Series 6 of Hunted, which we yet to watch, about the two lads going to a football match. Yes. I would definitely be trying to sneak into a stags match. If there's a stags match on, you know me, I'm not going to try and get away from it. I'm hoping I'll be able to stay hidden. But imagine if it had been last season when I was doing commentary.
Oh, you wouldn't have been hidden at all. Yeah. They'd have known where you were at every second.
Yeah. I'd have been halfway through shouting about a goal, and then Steve would be on my shoulder going, "You've been hunted down, your time on the run is over." I'm like, "Do you want to be a co-commentator?"
I'd be fine. I'd be hidden.
Yeah, you'd be nowhere near that football stadium. You just basically, if we ever go on the run, and I'm at a football ground, you want to know where she is? Local town, Waterstones, or WH Smith. Done. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, the adrenaline is there. It appeals to somebody's adrenaline. It appeals to somebody's competitive nature, which is great. Yeah. But just for once, in the next, you know, if it does happen in the next series of Celebrity Hunted, can we just please go and storm the stage? Go and make it more exciting, because it's almost got to the point now where we know they're going to get away with it. We know they're going to get out.
Can we get Jordan and Steve just walking on, one from each side?
It wouldn't be Jordan, would it? The nearly man.
Nah, Jordan would be.
He'd walk on the day after. Sorry, Jordan. But you know what we're talking about. How he conned you out of £1,000, my friend. Whew. Don't know, should have seen that coming. Harry's just headbutted the microphone. There you go. Hi, Harry.
Harry's just trying to say hello. Get down, boy.
Wants to say hello to the audience.
Good boy.
Anyway, so yes, contractual performance. I would like the hunters to get in there, to storm the place, to get them off stage and to get it done, because it's not just Johnny and So Solly Crew.
No.
Did I get the band right?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. We had Annika Rice in Series 1.
She
tried to do her radio show. We've obviously got Ed Gamble, spoiler alert, coming up in the next one, who does do his radio show. And then, I can't wait for this, Lisa Thika, the queen of put-downs and lines, gets on the phone and gets involved. Did he make it to his show the next week, because they'd have still been filming when it was? Did he not? There's a lot of jeopardy around that. So we know he had that to do as well. Obviously, in this day and age, it's a lot more easy now to do a radio show in a hidden location, but they can track IP addresses, etc., etc. So the jeopardy is still there. I want to see some action. When someone's got something to do, I want to see some action of them getting caught halfway through their performance.
I want to see a hunter stood in the crowd trying to, like, mingle in.
See, there's the point. They all stayed on the outside. Send somebody in undercover. If this was a real capture, there's not a chance that they'd all be on the outside. There'd be somebody in undercover with a festival hat on. You know, I can imagine a festival hat, a t-shirt, one of the glow sticks on. I've never been to a festival, as you can probably tell.
Can tell.
You can just imagine. You can imagine Blexley getting out of the office, can't you, and getting stuck
in. Dave, Julie,
get your festival hats.
Get your festival hats.
So
yeah. Someone needs to get in there,
get amongst it, and get them captured whilst doing it.
Eye contact.
Imagine, right? You talk about how good TV it is when they're in the boot and the dramatic music playing, which is great, etc., etc. But how good TV would it be from a laugh point of view, from a comedic point of view, from a bit of light relief, to see Lisa from So Solly Crew halfway through one of. Name me a So Solly Crew track. You can't.
Is it the 21 seconds?
We'll come on to that later. Halfway through a track, hand on the shoulder, Lisa, you have been caught, your time on the run is over. Okay, right, that's no problem. Bit gutted, bit annoyed, yada, yada, yada. Got to finish this gig, though. Come on, be some our support. And you can just imagine, like, you've got all the ground hunters that are there. They all come in. Jordan's there, Hawaiian shirt on. Steve's there with a glow stick in the background being backing dancers. It'd be absolutely fantastic TV. It'd be great. It would be so funny. So they definitely need, when they've got other commitments, to get in and amongst it, and to not hold back. No more holding back. Get in there, get them caught, and it's the risk they take.
Yes.
Right, who would you be more willing to help, a celebrity or a civilian?
I think it depends on the celebrity.
Oh, straight in. Right, who are you helping? Who are you not helping?
Are we going ones we've already seen or just random celebrities?
Let's do a mixture of both.
Okay, so
I'll tell you what. You take the odd numbered series. I'll take the even ones.
Oh, okay, yeah. So series 1. Series 1. Steph and Dom. I'm helping. Just because I think it'd be hilarious.
They would try and get you wine drunk, though.
It doesn't take a lot.
Well, that's true.
Doesn't take a lot. But think of the stories you could get out of them. From their, posh weekends and their hotel and goggle box and everything. I think they'd be hilarious. I would be helping them. They're not there to hurt anyone. They're not there to harm anyone. They're just two people who are known because they did a TV show, and they're harmless
and always drunk.
Right,
who are you not helping? So I think each series you've got to pick 2 to help, 2 to not help.
Right, okay. Well then my 2 to help are Steph and Dom and Jane Seaver.
No. Oh, all right, okay, yeah, no. I was going with 2 people. But no,
2 people.
No, all right, I'll let you do 2 couples or 2 fugitives.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
I'll bend the rules for you.
Thank you. I'm not helping Jamie and Spencer.
Not even if Jamie Lang offered you a lifetime of biscuits? Imagine if you came back to me and said, I've met Jamie Lang, I've helped him on Hunted, here's a lifetime supply of McVitie's.
Okay then, but then I'd want to help Jamie and not Spencer.
Okay, there's going to be some Spencer fans now that are spitting feathers, why not?
Sorry Spencer fans, but going back to what we said earlier about people who are born into that lifestyle, he was born into that lifestyle, and you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell that he was born into that lifestyle, He has that sort of way about him. So no, I'm not helping him.
Okay, well you've got to pick one more now because you've had J and C. So that also means that you're not helping Annika Rice.
Yeah, because I don't know who she is.
Annika Rice, massive in the 80s, 90s. She used to jump in and out of helicopters.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to know that, am I?
Very true. Right, series 2. Who am I helping? Who am I not helping?
Come on then.
Definitely helping. Right, I'm splitting up some pairs here.
Go on then.
I'm being controversial.
Go on.
I'm helping Johnny Mercer.
Yeah.
Not that he needs help because he'll let tyres down left, right and centre, sneaks in and out of Parliament. What a guy, smashed it. Helping Johnny Mercer. And do you know what? I'm not a massive fan of... Do you know what? I'm helping Dom Jolly. Like, he got caught, but... Hello, my name is Victor van der Krut. He's just funny. I just think you'd have a laugh helping him out. So I'm helping helping those 2. I know I gave you the 2. I said you could do 2 pairs and 2 that you could help. I'm just choosing 2 people to help and 2 people not to help. I'm not helping Chris and Kem because doing the work does not get you caught. You 2 are absolute morons to the highest degree. Imagine somebody sitting there going like, right, I've got this great invention. It's called the CCTV camera. It captures everything. But I've found a fail-safe. If you do the worm in front of it, you become invisible. Idiots! Absolute idiots!
It was the fact that you could just see them like crawling along the floor.
Imagine being in that office. I bet they had to cut this out, right? Imagine being in that office as the hunters and watching that footage for the first time, and you'd just be watching that. You'd either be open-mouthed and not say anything, or you'd just be watching that and going, what the fucking hell are these two muppets doing here? They'd just be pissing themselves laughing. I can see it now. I can see Dave and Julie like crawling across the floor to take the mick out of him. Idiots, man. Not helping those two out at all.
Okay. Right, okay.
Honestly, if imagine being a criminal. Imagine having those two as your idols, right? Imagine going, right, I'm going to rob the Bank of England. Yep. I've got past the security guards. I've got away in. The only thing now between me and all these millions is one CCTV camera. It's all right, son. I've got this, mate. Don't worry about it. What we need to do is need to do the fucking worm. Nitwits.
Oh, dear.
Series 3.
Series 3.
By the way, Chris and Kem fans, come at me. There's no defending that. No defending that.
There isn't. No. Series 3. Definitely not helping Lucy and Lydia. Towie fans, come at me. Bring it on.
I think to help you, because there'll be a few out there that are hunting you down, and I do care about you in some degree.
Thank you.
But we're a couple, been together 5 years. It's none of that shit. It goes back to what we were saying at the top of the show about being born into privilege, and
you're born into it.
What you don't do on the run is you don't go, I want to go to a spa.
No.
And you walk down a high street where there's lots of CCTV, and the hunters are on your tail, and then just they couldn't believe, could they, that Steve had got them both at the same time. One hand on each shoulder. Lucy, you have been caught. Your time on the run is over.
No. So I'm not helping them. And then I'm a bit stuck. Because Gavin and Martin, you can
do what I did if you want. You can split the pairs, if that helps.
Sorry to Martin, but...
What are you eating?
What are you eating?
I don't know.
How many times?
It's not Martin that I feel sorry for. I feel sorry for whoever was booked in next to that Airbnb location. Imagine walking in and going, Brian, have you done a poo?
No, it was Martin a fire and it wouldn't go. How many times did that guy do a poo that wouldn't disappear?
I imagine there's some poor production runner, low-grade production runner, no offence to those that do that job, that have to go in and tide you up, because your Channel 4 show, you want to look after peace. He would have had to get a knife and fork with a mask and gloves on, chopping that up.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Ugh.
So yeah, but then, they were both a bit... When they called someone from wherever they were and they got the name of the building wrong, and then they ran back outside to call them again. Let's just tell the hunters exactly where we were. But I would definitely be helping Aldo and John Christoph.
Yeah, they were funny.
They had a story. They dressed up in drag. For the fun of it.
Aldo Zilli put a pink wig on.
And a dress. One of them had a dress on.
Screamed panto. If he didn't get a panto booking off the back of that, then there's something wrong.
I'd watch them in panto, actually. So I'm definitely helping Aldo and John Christoph.
Series 4, who am I helping? We've just watched this, so it should be back in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Without a shadow of the doubt, I am channeling my inner, and get the names right here, I am channeling my inner Jan and Ian, and I am helping Ewan all day long. Brilliant. And Ian, again, it was almost like we call it the Bob and Alex on this podcast.
We do, yes.
The emotional height. When Ewan was having his breakdown, like we talked about before, about being on the run, last day, wanted to get back, he desperately needed someone to help, and for whatever reason, everybody that he approached on that day would not help him, and Ian refused to leave until Ewan Thomas had got somebody to help him.
They stayed, they waited, and they drove him.
He was like a protective father. It was beautiful.
Do you need the tissues?
Yeah, I think
But Ewan also had to deal with poo.
Yes.
The Portaloo. Was it a Portaloo?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
He had to deal with a...
I don't think it'd be quite on the standard. I don't think...
It wasn't quite Martin of Fire poo.
No.
But there's a lot of poo chat going on.
Yes, there is. It's not Shag Married Annoyed. What a podcast that is, by the way. Have a listen. By the way, Chris and Rosie, if you're listening to this by absolute accident, come on the podcast. We love you.
Yeah. Not in a weird way.
Yeah.
Don't get freaked out.
Yeah, we're not the people that send stories in. Who else am I? So I'm helping Ewan.
Yeah.
And then I'm struggling. I'm really, really struggling.
Are you not going to tap 3 times on the ground to let the spiders know that it's time to disappear?
Right.
Bye, spiders.
Is that a thing?
I don't think it is.
Right. Imagine being the leader of the spider. You're Stuart the Spider. You're the leader of the gang. Hey lads, we found a perfect place to crawl around here. We've got this tent, we've got these 2 people, plenty of dark spaces, plenty of nooks, cracks, crevices, and what was it? Festival Fanny?
No, Disco Minge.
Disco Minge to crawl into. Let's go. And then all of a sudden you just hear a lads, they've knocked 3 times. Away we go.
Just this line of spiders with their suitcases and off they go.
Yeah. Does that really work? I'm not helping. No, I'm not helping either of them. By the way, favourite. That's a new contender for favourite capture. Being in a Sainsbury's car park.
Yeah.
Pulling in for fuel, and then bang, they're there. Anyway.
Chief, we're just going for fuel.
Yeah. Capture. Eyes on. Oh dear. Right. Who else am I helping? I just watched that series and I can't remember who else was in it.
Lisa and Chizzy?
No, I don't think. Do you know what? I'm only helping you and
okay.
I'm helping you and Richard.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I'm helping.
All right, I'll take that. Yeah.
Yes. Let us know who you'd help and if you disagree with any of our opinions.
Why?
Yeah, and why? Yeah, we are at Hunted Pod on the social medias, aka Twitter and Instagram, or you can email us.
huntedpod@outlook.com.
So there you go. Who you'd be more willing to help, celebrity or civilian? And I think for that reason, I think I'd be more willing to help a civilian for the reasons we mentioned about, the status and the things like that. Although there are some celebs that I would definitely help. Oh, that's one thing we didn't say actually. We didn't say which celeb that's not been on it.
Yeah, we would help.
That we'd help.
Oh, you go first.
Yeah, because you can't think of any celebrities. Is that what it is?
Oh, I can't think of who'd help.
Okay, well, I can't think of who would help. Chris and Rosie Ramsey.
Yep.
Bradders and Barney Walsh.
Mm-hmm.
Martin and Roman Kemp. Anybody of that ilk. Someone that's funny, jolly, generally comes across as nice, and for want of a better phrase, and again, feel free to shoot me down, normal.
Anyone who doesn't use their celebrity status as this is why you should help me.
Yes.
So anyone who doesn't go up to someone and go, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so, help me.
Yeah.
Someone who just goes up and introduces himself as, I'm Fred Smith, please can you help me? Like
Ewan did. He didn't do, when he knocked on the door, I think it was Jan and Ian actually, wasn't it?
I think it was.
He didn't go, I'm Ewan Thomas, I'm an Olympics gold medalist, etc., etc. Yeah. I need help.
Yeah.
He did, I'm really sorry to bother you. Every single time, I'm really sorry to bother you.
Yeah.
I'm on the run. And, he was really soft-spoken, calm and explanatory, and that made you want to help. Whereas, get me out of here now. I need to get out of here. I need to get out. Panicky and almost angry and arrogant. That's what I wouldn't deal with. So actually, I don't think I could name celebs because I think it, as much as I sort of turn around and say Chris and Rosie, Bradders and Barney, Martin and Roman, if they came up I would be inclined to help them because I like them as celebs and I do look up to them. But if they came up to me and were arrogant, I'm not picking on those 3. They're just the 3 examples that I had on the tip of my tongue. If anybody that I liked and looked up to came up to me in that arrogant way and was like that, I wouldn't be inclined to help them either. So it's like we said before, it's all about approachability and attitude. Same with civilians. I think it would be the same with a civilian. I do have a natural instinct, I think, to help somebody if they needed it.
I think I'd want to know their story.
Yes, and it would all, depend on... Because it is nice, it's quite a good thing to turn around and say, especially if you are a fan of the show, because I think fans of the show will know it's Hunted because you can see the cameras.
Yeah.
There will be some sort of waiver to sign.
Yeah.
Etc., etc., especially when you've got kids, whether they get faces blurred, etc.
Yeah.
There will be some form of that to deal with. It's Hunted. So it would be a nice little story to say I've helped somebody that's been on Hunted.
Yeah.
We've seen a couple of social media groups that have said that they've helped somebody that's on the upcoming series, or they've helped somebody in the past. So there's that nice story. So I'd be inclined to help and be a part of it, but the way in which I'd act afterwards, or whilst they're with me, in terms of calling the hunters, would all depend on their story and how they're doing it.
How they treat you.
If they come across as arrogant, if they come across as we want to do this, we want the money, we want this, want that, I'm not inclined to help. If they're rude to you, and things like that, I wouldn't help. But if they're nice and calm and they've got a good backstory, that they're doing it well, and maybe even it's a bluff and they sell it well in the moment, I'm probably going to help.
Yeah.
And that's a good place to be. It's a good place to be.
It is.
So yes, if you ever need help and you stumble across us, be nice.
Yeah, be nice to us.
Yes, and I might hatch a plan like the guy did that owned the campsite in the first series of Celebrity Hunted.
For Jane Seaver.
Who we thought was an absolute moron at first because of the way it was edited, because it looked like he grassed them right up.
It did,
but in the end,
hadn't.
he hadn't, and he deserved a lot of credit. Right, we're nearly running out of time, so we're going to come to our last topic, and we're now going to talk top 5 celebrity fugitives. We didn't mention this at the top of the show, and I hope that it's been clear, by the way, that this has not been a review of all 5 series, because we're probably going to, all 4 series, sorry, because we're not going to do that. We might do that in future episodes, because there's so much about Series 1, Series 2, Series 3 and Series 4 which we've not spoken about, which we want to speak about, especially Series 4. It's worth a teensy mention.
It's post-COVID.
Post-COVID, I wasn't talking about that.
Oh, okay,
I was
sorry.
talking about it being Lisa Thika's first series,
yes.
aka the Queen of Put-Downs.
Put-down Queen.
Hope your marriage lasts longer than it did I hope your marriage lasts longer than you did on the run.
If they need a piss, tell them to do it in a bottle.
21 seconds to run or something?
Something about lasting longer than you did on Strictly.
Yes. She must have practiced those in the mirror. We want to talk more about those.
Yeah.
Maybe even get her perspective on that in the future. So that's something we're not going to do at length in this episode.
No.
So let's move on to
top 5.
Our top 5 favourites. And I have to admit, when we wrote the notes for this show, we'd not finished watching Series 4.
No, we hadn't.
So our top 5 has changed
We finished
somewhat.
it after we'd written it.
Yeah.
We finished it after the pub.
So we've merged it around a little bit. Right, you go first. Top 5 celebrity fugitives and your reasons for doing it.
Number 1, Stanley, for all the wrong reasons. Just because he was a bit bumbly. I don't really think he understood what he was doing. I think he just thought he was off on a holiday with his best friend. Your credit card don't get caught with that credit card. It's a special one.
Yeah.
We're gonna go on a boat. We're gonna go have a crab sandwich. We're gonna dye our hair red. He was just for the wrong reasons, Stanley. AJ, because he was smart. He knew when it was time to split. He knew where to go.
He knew not to hide in a hot tub.
He knew not to hide in a flipping hot tub.
Safe space. Hashtag safe space.
So yeah, AJ, Jane Seaver, for obvious reasons, they finished as a pair. They've got more reasons than they did then.
And they were bloody good at it.
They were good at it,
I think they're the only 2, by the way, I think, to state, like, in terms of winners to stay together and
Aldo
split.
and John Christoph split up for a bit.
Yeah, they didn't split, did they? They stayed together all the way through.
Yeah.
And now and to be fair, like on a personal level as well, they'll have that experience for the rest of their lives. As they all will, but in terms of what happened afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, they've got that. Steph and Dom.
Wine drunk.
Basically, drunk tour of friends' houses.
It was basically a show about getting drunk meets Four in a Bed meets Hunted. It was an amalgamation of all the shows.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And Johnny Mercer.
And that's where I'm going to kick off my list as well. Johnny Let Your Tires Down Mercer, brilliant. Ewan Thomas, because I could do a whole episode on Ewan Thomas, and I would love to get him on as a guest. He's on my hit list of guests.
Yeah.
If anybody knows Ewan, get him to get in touch. We'd love to get him on, and maybe Jan and Ian as well.
Oh, Jan and Ian.
Is it Jan and Ian?
I think it is so, yeah.
I'm sure I said it earlier.
Yeah, you did.
So yes, we'd love to get them on. They followed us, by the way, on Instagram, so I might have to drop them a cheeky
Jan and
message.
Ian.
Thanks. I'd love to get them on and share their experience, but mainly Ewan, because he obviously knew whilst he was out on the run that his partner was pregnant with the second child.
Yeah.
He was doing it for his little boy. He got his mate to rig his garage up with a smoke bomb. Go on, lad.
That was amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He risked going back home. He knew ways to communicate. He kept a clear head. He had sort of that feeling, didn't he, when they went to that Nottinghamshire mansion?
That something wasn't right.
He knew that they were taking a risk on taking the picture and putting the picture on the internet. He knew that was a bit of a risk. He knew they'd be able to find him, but he also knew they had to run. And he knew because of that to stay put whilst Richard went out and scoped way out. And obviously that's when he got caught. His mate basically came back in, tipped in the wink, and had it on his toes.
Off he went.
And then the final chase of Ewan, by the way. You know the music, na 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 na. I think it's Chariots of Fire. I'm sure that's the song.
Maybe.
The producers missed a trick, by the way, not putting that on and doing it in slow-mo. When it was a two-horse race between Ewan and Jordan the Nearly Man to capture him. I could just imagine it in slow-mo, Ewan looking over, turning around and going, "Fuck! No! Get me to the chopper!" Sorry, I'm not doing an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. And then as he gets on the chopper, as it takes off, "Fuck you!" As Jordan's there on the ground. Missed him. Of course you missed him. You're Jordan the Nearly Man. Sorry, Jordan.
Sorry, Jordan.
I'm sure you're a lovely bloke. I'm sure you were really good at your job. But on Hunted, so far what we've seen, you come across as Jordan the Nearly Man. I'm sure you're lovely, and I'm sure it pisses you off that you are always the Nearly Man. But Ewan, for all of those reasons, especially the emotional breakdown and how it just shows, doesn't it? Actually, that with that. No matter how much of a celebrity status that you have, no matter what you've done in your life, we are all vulnerable people. We all have vulnerabilities, and it's not a bad thing to show those vulnerabilities and to ask for help when you need it, especially in this day and age, because there are so many people that I know that maybe their arrogance would get in their way and they would refuse to ask for help and things like that. And we're talking about this in the context of a game show, but it obviously goes a lot deeper and a lot wider than that as well. So if you need help, ask for help, as Ewan did. Steph and Dom for the same reasons. Wine Drunk Tour of the UK. Jay and Siva for obvious reasons, like we've mentioned. I thought they were brilliant. They set the bar very, very high.
They did, yes.
Because that was the first series we watched as well.
It was, yes.
I was really impressed with their approach to it. And then for all of the wrong reasons, I know I slagged them off earlier, and I've got to do it again now. Obviously, Chris and Kem, because doing the worm on CCTV does get you caught, you muppets. Nitwits. I just found it funny how they were so sure that would go undetected. And yes, I'll hold my hands up. There are some CCTV cameras that you probably wouldn't get caught doing something like that on, but you could tell that there was no blind spot there for that. It was not.
It was too low.
Yeah, I'm sure at one point, if you look back on the footage, they were doing the worm and they were coming up so high they were actually seen through the window. So
and as well, they stood up as well, so they were still in view of this. Did they think that the CCTV only got like a tiny little bit of the view?
Exactly. Look, I've wasted enough airtime on those two nitwits now. I don't want to go there again. But yes, those two, because for all the wrong reasons, they were just I'm not even going to go there. Those two for all the wrong reasons.
Okay.
Right, quick fire me.
Right, okay. Favourite moment?
Quick fire, not quick fire.
Quick fire, not quick fire. Favourite moment?
I've got two. It's either those two doing the worm on CCTV, or I'm going to split it another way. I'm going to do favourite moments of people where I've wanted to scream and throw the TV out the window, right? And then favourite like moments.
Go on then.
Emotional moments. Right, those two doing the worm,
Mm-hmm.
and oh my god, I've broke my finger! I've broke my finger! Oh my god, I've broke my finger! I've broke my finger! I've broke my... You've not been shot, love. Yes, we know it hurts. Yes, we know the shock will take part of your body. Yes, we know there's adrenaline running, etc. But you've not been shot. I need to get to A&E now. And then the other two moments, the emotional moments. People are going to hate me, aren't they? People are going to hate me. I should never go unhunted now after this.
Nah.
People are not going to help me, are they?
Not.
Emotional moments, obviously Ewan, and then the guy helping Jay and Stephen, because honestly, hand on heart, when I watch that, I'm screaming at the telly going, you absolute git! You two-faced... I was calling him every name under the sun, but really it was part of their master plan, and he played a blinder. So do you know what, sir? Can't remember your name, and that's bad on my part.
Mr. Caravan Park Man.
Caravan Park Man.
Well done.
If I had a hat, I'd take it off to you at this point. Well done. So yes, they're mine.
Okay.
Go.
The letting down of the ties by Johnny Mercer, because it was just genius. To annoy the hunters and let them know that you've been there all in one point and they can't get you because you've let their ties down. Well done, sir. I have too many.
Go on, give me one more. Right, I did too good, too bad. So too good, too bad. You've already had one good. What's one more good?
One more good. The point at which Aldo and Jean-Christophe saw each other at the extraction point, and Jean-Christophe went, "No, wait for my friend."
Yes, he did, didn't he?
He refused to get on the helicopter without Aldo. So that they are my two good moments.
Yes.
Bad moment. I'm gonna have to join you in the I've broke my finger.
Sorry, love, you've not been sharp. Come on.
Yeah. Ooh, and another one. Ooh. Ooh.
Can I add one in and do it for you?
Yeah, go on then.
Come on. Louis Smith.
Hot tub.
A hot tub is not it's not a base. Remember when you played Tig at school and you say, if I'm stood behind the red line, you can't tig me.
Yeah.
If I've got one hand on my hip, you can't tig me. There are no safe spaces when you're being hunted. What on earth made you think that the hunters would not check every nook and cranny? Although, was it Mel in series 4
when he was looking for Lisa?
In the loft.
Just pulled himself up. Yeah, this is empty. No one in here.
I like Mel. He's becoming a favourite, but come on, son. You dropped the bollock on that one, didn't you?
He did a man look.
Yeah, he did.
He did a man look.
Fortunately, the ground hunters had the good grace to go, stay put, because we're determined she's still in that house, and saved his backside on that one.
Yes.
But next time, have a proper look, son. Right, who would you go on the run with? I want a pair from the show, and I want a pair made up of any other celebrities.
Ooh. I'm going on the run with Jane Seaver. Because, you're going to get musical. They knew what they were doing. Hands down, Jane Seaver. Not on the show. I would like to go on the run with Bradley Walsh and Barney.
Oh, you've took mine.
Sorry. They've done all these shows where they jump off things and swim in things and ride bulls and everything. They're going to be good.
Okay. Mine, from the show, who would I go on the run with? It's difficult. I think I'd like to go... Can I merge two from two pairs? Right.
Yes, you may.
I'm choosing Ewan Thomas.
Okay.
Because, resilient, quick thinking, sharp, and he's got that a little bit of emotional vulnerability, but, he's got that... I think he's the all-round fugitive. And then I think... he'd risk getting me caught. No. I was going to go for Stanley because he'd risk getting caught. Then the risk of getting caught is probably too much. Going to have to go for... I don't know. This is really, really tough. I'm going to choose one of Jay and Seaver.
Okay.
I'll choose Jay.
Okay.
Because he's a Nottingham lad.
Yeah.
So, there's that home comfort thing there. And again, resourceful, quick.
Yeah.
Any other celebrity? Well, you've chosen mine.
Sorry.
But I would have liked to have gone and run with Bradley Walsh. So I'm going to stick with Bradley Walsh-esque.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go, it's a puppet! A.k.a. Brian Connolly. The look I've just got from her, by the way. She had no idea who that is.
Is he the Buy It Now man?
Yes! He presented Buy It Now on Channel 4.
Yeah, right.
Brian Connolly, again, like Bradley Walsh, keeps himself in relatively good nick.
Yeah.
He's got so many stories. He'll keep you entertained. He'll pick you up.
Okay.
And, he also looks like Bradders, so, he's very close to that. And then I'm choosing Ben Shepherd.
Oh,
I think he'd be quite resourceful. He's obviously into football, which I am, so we'd have some good conversations.
Yeah, okay.
He's got good contacts in the media, so we'll be able to help with that sort of campaign. And I think, he's, quite a relatively physically fit guy as well, so I'm going to choose him. Now, we've asked you guys on social media for some as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we're just starting out, so the replies aren't thick and fast.
No.
We're not going to be here for another half an hour talking about them, but please do get involved with these in the future. At Hunted Pod on Twitter and Instagram. We do have a Facebook page, although we've not put a lot of work into that yet, but you will find it. But we are members of the Hunted Channel 4 group on Facebook, post in there and you'll see it.
Yep.
And of course, we've got an email address.
It is huntedpod@outlook.com.
So we've had a couple of Instagram messages from Colette on Instagram. Favourite moment in Celebrity Hunted: Steve Cottam jumping over a wall and landing on Burberry Aftershave, Jamie Lang and Spencer Matthews. It was a lot. I think she's a Steve Cottam fan. Steve Cottam catching both Towie stars Lucy and Lydia single-handed, and Chris and Kem doing the worm to avoid CCTV. Celebrity I'd go on the run with: Bear Grylls, ex-SAS, best chance of winning, but also good fun. Dread to think what I'd end up eating though. Get a knife and fork. You could probably still have some of Martin Affire's Biohazard. And we also asked about, if you knew anybody from Hunted. We'll come on to that a little bit later on. But Colette knows the pilot Graham, who extracted Emily, Lauren, Stephen, and Martin from Fair Oaks Airport in Series 1. So yes. If you do know anyone, let us know as well. So yeah, we've also had an email in from Jay Clark, who's been in touch to say, enjoyed the first episode of the podcast. Thank you very much. Who would I go on the run with? I think it would have to be Jay and Seaver because, again, resourceful, although wine drunk Steph and Dom would be funny. Celebrity I'd go on the run with. And it would probably be somebody along the lines of Martin and Roman Kemp because they're funny on Gogglebox.
Yeah.
Although I do quite like, also on the Gogglebox theme, probably shouldn't have watched it before, two footballers, aka Jamie Carragher and Mika Richards. Yes. So good choice. I think they'd be a laugh. Yeah. I think they'd probably get you caught though, and they'd probably end up arguing. But there you go. Also, favourite moment from the show: Lisa Thika's put downs. Yes.
Woo!
Great work. I mean, to be fair, she had big shoes to fill following Ben and Blex, and she comes in and absolutely smashes it out of the park. Maybe we'll have an episode on her and her put downs in the future. Really looking forward to now watching Series 6 of The Civilian, where she's chief. I'm sure she'll have some more put downs and things like that. Really looking forward to that. We're going to get stuck into that this week. Whether or not we'll have finished it by the time the next episode of the podcast comes out, we don't know. Also worth noting that we had no idea what the next episode of the podcast will be.
Nope. No idea.
So
It's a mystery.
yes, we did sort of plan out what we wanted. We are lining up some interviews. We're waiting for some people to come back off of holiday and breaks and things like that. We're also waiting a few replies. We've got some ideas since. I think one thing we don't want to do now is we don't want to put 2 episodes out and stop.
Yes.
And wait for others. We want to sort of keep episodes coming.
Yeah.
So if you guys have got suggestions of what you'd like to talk to us about, maybe you want to come on and talk to us about it, we'd happily do that as well. We can get you on via like a Zoom call or something like that. We can get you on the phone if you wanted to as well. Anything you want to talk about, let us know. All the social medias are there. At HuntedPod on Twitter and Instagram, and the email address as well, huntedpod@outlook.com. Let us know what you want. We've had a few requests talking about the Australian version that we mentioned at the top of the show. So we are planning to do something on the Australian version. We might get a chance to do that for next week, hopefully. If we do, we'd love to chat to some of the fugitives, some of the hunters on that. We also have lots of messages asking us how you can watch those versions of the show. You need something what's called like a VRM, which is like a virtual reality network. It's not illegal. Some people say it is. It's not. Basically, you install this software. There are ones out there which you pay for, which are the safe ones, which I would recommend using. Where you pay, and it basically tricks your browser into thinking you're in a different country. So you can say that you are in Australia rather than in the UK, or if you fancy watching American Netflix, you can say that you're in America, log into Netflix and you'll get the American Netflix. That's how it works. And I'm sure it's out there on other platforms as well. Just do your research. Whether we want to do a podcast on the Australian Hunted having not watched it or having watched it is a different thing. What are your thoughts? Personally, I think doing one where we've not watched it would be quite insightful.
I think doing it where we've not watched it would be good, because then we've not got we've not prejudged people on what we've seen, and we can just talk to them and ask them what happened, what are the rules, because obviously it's going to be different because Australia is massive.
Yeah.
So I think we'll be able to find out more from not watching it.
Yes, so I think we'll do that.
Yeah.
So our aim for the next episode is to do an Australian hunted one. Whether or not we get to do it because of time constraints, we don't know, but that's definitely on our list of things to do.
It is.
We will be back though next week, hopefully Sunday, with another episode of the Hunted podcast. But like every other cliche podcasters, we're going to end this show by saying, don't forget
to like,
rate,
and subscribe.
And if you want to get involved with the Hunted podcast chat throughout the week, send us your favourite moments, your favourite fugitives, anything Hunted related that you want to talk about, or even better, if you know somebody that's been on Hunted, or if you have been on Hunted, or help somebody that's been on Hunted, please get in touch, because we want to talk to you. We want to talk to everybody that's been involved, whether you are production crew, whether you are somebody that's extracted somebody, hidden somebody, anything. No matter how small or how big a part you have played, get in touch. Oh, and also, if you know somebody who's an exec of the show,
please let us know.
Please, we'd love to get in front of the execs and make it more of an official thing.
Yes.
Because at the moment we have our hands tied by. We've been in touch. We won't reveal their names because that's unfair on them. But we've been in touch with some hunters who are still on the show, who are favourites of people, who are bang up for being involved.
But they got to talk to the execs.
Yes. So if you're an exec, get in touch with us.
Please.
At HuntedPod on Insta or Twitter. We're also on Facebook as well. Search for Hunted Podcast, or
email us at huntedpod@outlook.com.
Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back next week. All that's left to say is that your time on the pod is over. You have been hunted down.
No photos.
We're sorry, we're not allowed. We're on the run, but we can't just give away our identity. Sorry, thank you.
If they come, where do we go?
We ain't got a way out, Cam.
I don't think that's how you set it up. It looks a bit like a tent now.
How the fuck where you? These are fucking key. Guess what these are for now? I thought they were for decorations, but they're actually for the pegs, which is pretty mind-blowing. Mate, we've actually done it.
Actually, I feel I'm starting to grow up a little bit. I'm a bit more wiser, I think, before I do things.
Should we go look at some lingerie? Yeah, I like that.
That's a great size as well.
I like the old multi-way, bro. Didn't that? You wear two at the same time.
Can we get one of these and £10 credit, please, mate. He does look quick.
One more brings a fucking big geezer as well. He can run.
What are we going to do?
This is it.
I can't do this. We just got to do it, mate. Or we don't arm it off.
Fucking hell, man.
It's over, Chris.
It's over, buddy.
Look, guys, we have 2 in custody. Chris and Kem.
Chris and Kem show is over.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.